July test, folks. There's a bunch of rugby on in July. It's a happy time to be a rugby fan. One of the troublesome parts of the July Internationals, though, is because they're all over in different countries, there's potential for different broadcasters, but thankfully, most of the broadcasters seem to have a similar set of games on depending where you are in the world. One of the patrons on Patreon, if you want to support the channel, link down in the description, asked for this topic just to have a quick rundown of some of the broadcasters and what kind of content they've got. So we'll go through that pretty quickly, and yeah, you guys can let me know your thoughts. So the bunch of broadcasters I've got on the board: Sky New Zealand, Stan and 9 in Australia, Supersport in South Africa, Sky UK, which I also believe in this instance covers Ireland, but do let me know if that's wrong. Canal Plus in France, Star Plus in South America, TSN Canada, Premier Sports Asia. I don't think it includes Japan, but the majority are Asia, and then Flow Rugby in the States. These broadcasters all seem to have at least these first, 4 series. So that's All Blacks Ireland from New Zealand, Wallabies England from Australia, South Africa against Wales, obviously from South Africa, and then Scotland tour of Argentina. They all seem to have that. That seems to be a pretty common thread. Where there was a little bit of a difference was France's 2 games in Japan. When I looked at Sky and Stan, I didn't see those games listed. They may come. Do your own due diligence before you sign up to anything. But yeah, I didn't see the Japan and France games listed on either of those first 2. One good thing about Stan, though, is on Channel 9, you will get the free-to-air games, at least one of the Wallabies games. Their schedule's not out past the first week, but the first test is on for free, seemingly, so that's kind of a bit of good news. But yeah, all these services seem to be pretty stock standard. Where you do get some differences is like for Flow Rugby. So you guys in the States, Flow Rugby is an affiliate of the channel. If you want to sign up, do use the link below, because that'll help me out. But Flow Rugby's got some of the more American-centric stuff, because there's also the Americans playing the French Barbarians, and then the Eagles are also taking on Chile in a Rugby World Cup qualifier. So Flow Rugby's got those games, plus these ones that I mentioned. They've also had Uruguay versus Japan, their 2 games, which is up on their one, which is really good. Like Sky New Zealand didn't have those games, so Flow Rugby is actually doing pretty well in that regard. I didn't see anybody with games like Georgia versus Argentina in 15. I didn't see Georgia versus Italy. I didn't see Uruguay versus Romania. I didn't see Canada versus Spain, which is some of the other July internationals on. The only broadcaster which I saw mention the Pacific Nations Cup was Sky in New Zealand. So it looks like those games are going to be on Sky here in NZ. So if you're a Sky subscriber, that's kind of a bit of good news. But that being said, as far as I'm aware, the Pacific Nations Cup is generally put, when it was played previously, on World Rugby's YouTube channel anyway. So it may be just taking it from free to behind a paywall here in New Zealand. But if you're a Sky subscriber, like I said, and you want to watch the Wallabies A side, which is pretty stacked, taking on the Tongan side, which has got some big name recruits, and Fiji and Samoa, then those games will be on Sky. Otherwise, I would say check out World Rugby's YouTube channel, because they tend to have the games on. So yeah, folks, it's mostly pretty stock standard for these first few series. As I mentioned, there may be a couple of discrepancies about Japan and France here in New Zealand and Australia, and then these kind of lower level games, if you want to call them that, don't seem to be listed that I could find just yet. But some of these companies only put their broadcast schedule out 1 week in advance, so maybe they just haven't been listed just yet. And as I said, if you want the American focused stuff, or if you guys are in the States, Flow Rugby is the one for you. So yeah, hopefully that's a quick bit of help, guys. As I said, if there's any corrections to be made, please chuck them down in the comments. I do think Canal Plus is kind of split between 2 channels, but you guys in France will know. I think the French games are on one channel, and then all the other games are on like their sports channel. I guess like the main channel covers the French team, which makes sense. But yeah, they all seem to be much of a muchness, folks. You guys let me know any other broadcasters who we should be mentioning in other territories which I've not covered. But yeah, fingers crossed we get some good games. Māori All Blacks up against Ireland tomorrow, folks. So things are getting underway rather fast. So happy time to be a rugby fan. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.